I like the new decoration on the Beatles picture, mate.
Do
That's
you like
fighting
it?
stuff.
Can you see it all? So I don't know if you
I
can get it
can,
all
yeah.
on the camera.
Yeah, aye.
So yeah, because it's the Scottish Cup weekend, I thought I'll just have the Scottish Cup 2016 programme,
Yeah,
my wee mod bike, and Scotland and Hibs. So there you go.
aye.
All my favourite things in the one view.
Aye. Like the Beatles are, they must have been secret Hibs fans. That we
Ah
scarf on
well.
top.
It's the Gig in the Game podcast. Have it.
How's things with you been, mate? All good?
I've been good, mate. Yeah, I'm back to work next week, so I've just been trying to get everything in order and stuff. And you know what it's like if you've been off for a wee bit of time. You sort of you try and get back into the rhythm and try and have early nights, and But
Yeah. No, when you've been off work for a wee while and then you go back, it's like I think that first couple of days, especially the first one, when you're like, it's just getting back into that routine, isn't it? And
exactly, yeah.
getting mentally prepared for it. But once you're in the swing of it, and with it being a new job as well, you'll be
Yeah.
absolutely you'll fly for it, mate.
Yeah, exactly. You've always got that trepidation with a new job as well. You're like, you sort of know it's the right thing, but you're sort of quite nervous at the same time. You're like, oh god, but I'm sure
Yeah.
it'll be all right. Like you said, once you're in sort of 1-2 days, you're fine. It's
Yeah.
just another grind. That's all it is.
It's always a bit like it could be like quite daunting in that bit. Maybe people kind of be a bit worried about change, but when you get into it, change is good. And then
Change
like
is good. Yeah,
a few weeks, a couple of months down the line, you're like, oh, I'm glad I actually came here.
yeah.
This is the start.
I always think that people can be a bit afraid of change, but sometimes it kind of takes you out your comfort zone, and that can be one of the best things for you because then you kind of realise what type of person you are,
Yeah.
and if there's anything that makes you uncomfortable, you just have to kind of try to mentally face it, and it makes you a bit of a better person, innit? If you can face that situation and get through it. So no, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Definitely, I like that feeling. Like, see, when you go into a new job, like me working at Tesco now, like you're kind of a bit worried when you first start because you don't know anybody. You have an
Yeah,
idea of how the job's going to go, but then within like a few months of being there, you actually feel part of the team, and you feel like you've got an impact there, sort of thing.
yeah.
You're like liked and respected and stuff, and you respect your colleagues, and it's good. You feel like you make a mark there, don't you? Like you've got a certain role.
The one thing that scares me about new jobs is understanding the routines, because obviously the employees there have all got their little routines,
Yeah,
and it's getting over that little hurdle. And then once you're sort of in the job, it's like you're just, like I said, you're just part of the furniture, and you're like, yep, cool, this is my life for the foreseeable future.
as well. Everyone's got their own sort of way of working, isn't they? And that's what makes a good team, I suppose. Eh? It's like a football player getting a transfer. Like
Yeah,
he's just changing uniform. He's just changing into a different kit, but they're still going to do the same job. That's what they were signed for.
yeah. I remember years ago when I worked in Tesco, I worked at the one on Broughton Road, or Broughton Street, whatever one it is, down by, do you know where Cannon Mills, the Esso garage is, that Tesco?
Yeah, yeah.
And there was a really nice bar. If you came out that Tesco and you took a wee right as if you were going to the town, there was a wee place next to Banana Road, a recording studio called Smithy's.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think
So
I was in there one time with you and Chris.
I
Having
think
a
so,
pint.
yeah. One time when we maybe like been rehearsing or something, and we'd went in
Yeah.
for a couple of drinks. So we a couple of the ones in Tesco kind of got like a wee bit of a bond and stuff. So we would go after shifts
Yeah.
for a couple of beers, and so we we walked in one night with all the Tesco gear on, right? And there was a guy that used to work there. His name was Mikey Carson. He's the funniest man I've ever met. Like, telling a story, he would have you in absolute stitches just telling you a story about going for a pint of milk. So we were all in we were all in the pub sitting drinking and having banter and that. And then this guy walked in with a Sainsbury's uniform. Mm-hmm. And Mikey just stood up and went, "Boo!"
You tight end welcome round here.
And the guy was like, "What was that?" Just like, "Boo!" Tesco loyal.
I've had it before.
Class.
I went into like Morrison's just round the corner, and in like a Co-op or Tesco uniform, and they'll say like, "Why are you shopping in here? Like, if you work at Tesco?" I'm like, "Well, I like the products out here." Like, like
they look at you, they're like, "Scumbag."
I like to mix it up. I'm not like fully loyal to this place. Like, I do like other shops. I do like Morrison's.
Yeah.
I do like Aldi. I do like Lidl.
So, big game in the Champions League tonight, mate. How do you see it going?
Ooh. Well, Eddie Howe said it's the biggest game in the club's history. Mm-hmm. I think we've never been in this stage before. If I'm honest, mate, my heart says we'll do it, but my head's it's not very. I'm not very confident. I hate feeling like that because we deserve to be here. We've done all the legwork to get here, but it's this is a different beast we're playing tonight in Barcelona.
Yeah, it's a different. It's a big step up from Karabag in the last round, isn't it?
Yeah, I think with it being we've got the home leg first. I think we've got to at least have a lead, or at the worst case scenario, a draw going into the next round. The next leg. It's going to be tough. Mm-hmm. We've obviously played them once this season, and they beat us 2-1 up here. Marcus Rashford had the game of his fucking life and scored 2 screamers. I didn't expect that as well from him. I thought Rashford's always that player. Like, he's had a lot of criticism over his years at Man United, being a lazy fucker. But he's got talent though. Can he deny it? And he'll just produce it now and again.
Marcus Rashford's like one of a bunch of players who has left Man United and has suddenly went on to have this like really, really good career. Like McTominay's the prime example of that. Like goes to Napoli, and he's like the star man in Serie A. But there's been loads. Like they move on and they suddenly find it's almost like there's like a bit of a disease at Man United at the minute.
Yeah, maybe the culture of the club at the time.
Culture, yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny one. So with tonight, I mean, they're gonna have to get something at home, and I'd like to think the team's gonna put in a shift. Though this is our game of the season now, so they have to just go for it.
Yeah, and we spoke a couple of weeks ago when they played Karabag, and everybody was a bit surprised that he played like a full team squad, but I think it comes back to the point that I made about like giving them that Champions League home experience. That's going to be vital tonight because the players will be like, right, get as much home experience with the first team as you can because it's going to be like the atmosphere is going to be incredible. Yeah,
it's going to be decent, and hopefully that could be the 12th man for us. I was quite disappointed on Saturday because I felt like we were really up for it, and we done all right for like 40 minutes against Man City, and I looked at the Man City team, and I shouldn't have done this, but I thought that they looked like they went second string. And Man City were class on Saturday. They just couldn't get the ball off them second half, and it made me think that like their second team, there's not one player in that second team for Man City that wouldn't get in our starting lineup. They're still good, and I suppose they all needed a point to prove to Pep. Well, I deserve to start. So even like your Savinho, Marmoush and Doku, like these are like probably second string City team. It's still good. Still amazing.
It's the strength and depth in it. Like it's scary how these teams have like you look at the benches in some of the games and you're like there's like £200 million worth of talent on the bench and you're like
yeah.
What chance do the other teams have?
I know. Yeah, the only way you get they've got to have an off day. You've got to be at your best. You've got to take chances, and yeah, because it's just that classic example of like Pep's teams just like keeping the ball and just they move it beautifully. It's nice to watch. It's frustrating as fuck when you're playing against it, but there's no denying that he's got his players well drilled. He's done that for years with his especially the old Barca team with like Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta. Just kept the ball. Just couldn't get it off them.
It's like the Rangers and Celtic teams of old when you used to go and play them at Ibrox and Celtic Park. Like, just so frustrating to watch because the player that your team's just like camped in outside the 6-yard box and it's just attack. But like you said with the second string, obviously big weekend in the Scottish Cup and the FA Cup, which we'll talk about. But it's funny you mention in the second string because I always think with the FA Cup, I don't know how you feel about this, but in terms of comparing it to the Scottish Cup, I always feel like teams in England, not that they don't take it seriously, but you'd find that most of the big teams would sort of put a lot of the second string in their teams in the run-up to the finals. Do you ever find that?
Yeah, I think so. I think like with City, for example, on Saturday, they've probably seen that as not as high up on their priorities because they've got Real Madrid this week.
Yeah.
They're still battling in the league, and also they're at the League Cup final. So the League Cup final, that's probably all leading up to that. They probably didn't see that as a priority, but now that they're in the final, it's a chance to win a trophy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if the glamour of the FA Cup's gone. It's a bit more different. It's a different with like the Scottish Cup. I mean, I think Scottish Cup seems to like have a bit more of that glamour. Like teams are going to go full pelt in that, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that was one of the points that I'd written down about, like, I feel like the Scottish Cup still has its values and its tradition.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't get that with the FA Cup. Even the finals are good to watch, but even the final, like, you sort of put it on, and it's not like the days of old with the old Wembley. Like, one of my first FA Cup finals that I watched was the Newcastle Man United in '99 when Man United were going for the treble. And, you know, you would sort of like get up on the Saturday and, you know, go. And I remember the programmes always started like 3 hours before the game. And you would just sit there and watch all the coverage and all the build-up, and it was just amazing. But I feel sort of like the FA Cup's kind of lost that. But I suppose it's just with the amount of money that's involved now with the English game and the Champions League. It's maybe not as prestigious to win, maybe for the history, but to have the trophy, but certainly not for like the sort of value of it. You know what I mean?
It's like, yeah, with the coverage that they used to do, it would start like really early, wouldn't it? And they would show like how they would show like the both the teams would have their suits on and all that. Like the players would. Remember Liverpool had that outrageous.
I remember the.
Oh, that was honking, wasn't
it? What were they called? It wasn't the boy band. What was the name that they were called? They were called.
It was like a creamy suit, wasn't it? Like,
yeah.
But yeah, like that was the whole thing about getting to Wembley, and it does annoy me that the fact that like if you get to the semi-finals of the FA Cup, it's at Wembley. So it should be about the final getting to Wembley. Years ago, they used to have the semis. One of the semis we played at Old Trafford, the other one we played at Villa Park, and they do a replay. Yeah. I think one of the replays they would put at like Hillsborough sometimes. But then it should be all about getting to Wembley, and this getting to the semis. Why would you want to play the semi at Wembley? And they do it at Hampden as well. Like
they do, yeah.
In Scotland,
they do, and it's. I mean, one of the greatest semis in the FA Cup was the one where Giggs, Man United Arsenal. Remember, Giggs made that mazy run, and I think Arsenal missed a penalty. I think in the sort of last 10 minutes. I think if my memory's correct.
Yeah. Bergkamp, I think he missed it. He saved the penalty, didn't he?
One of the greatest semi-finals ever. But like, I agree. Like, getting to the final, playing at the National Stadium should be like, if you get to the semi, then obviously it's taken a bit away. And especially like, you know, if you're Celtic and Rangers and you're getting like most of the allocation, it's pretty much a home game, isn't it? Like for Celtic or Rangers, or maybe a Hearts or a Hibs if they get there.
I mean, for Hibs, like this is the Scottish Cup was everything. Like to even a few years ago, getting that monkey off the back and winning it after so long. So it means a lot to every club. It should be a bit more glamorous, these cup matches.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Scotland have never lost that want for all the clubs to win it. Even I dare say it, that Celtic and Rangers, like, they're just trying to compete with each other, trying to win as many domestic titles. So it means everything to every club in Scotland. Yeah. Whereas I just feel like in England, it's not really, it's not as prestigious and mystical as it used to be. I mean, I done a bit of research last night, and I don't know if you know this about like figures and stuff that teams can win from winning the cup, right? But this is Matthew, this is unbelievable, right? So last season's Premier League winners, right? Liverpool. And this comes from Footy 365, right? They got 175 million for winning the league.
Yeah.
Right? Then obviously you know this yourself, so you get about 16 million for getting in the Champions League. And then for like wins, you get about 2 million. So if you get into the Champions League, you're in the top 5 Champions League and you win a couple of games, you're making in excess of £200 million just from your league position, getting in that Champions League format.
Yeah.
The FA Cup winners, and this comes from the FA website, get 4 million. So that instantly takes away any sort of drive or motivation to do well in the cups. Obviously, teams still want to do well in the cups, but I just think, like, if you're like a Villa or you're a Newcastle or something, you know, if you get knocked at the FA Cup, yes, you're like, oh, I'm gutted, but your priority is we need to get up that table and get into the Champions League because that's where the money is.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible how it's like that, man, isn't it? Like, it's just money orientated. I mean, the FA Cup, like, that's like one of the oldest cups in history because, like, England invented football. It's the most. It's like it used to be like the most watched cup final game of football ever. That's what the glamour is, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
But it is a shame how it's a bit like that. I suppose you still get the upsets. Obviously, Port Vale they beat Sunderland. That was and what Wrexham ran Chelsea close as well, didn't they?
The other thing that kind of annoys me about the FA Cup and the Scottish Cup is the fact that they've done away with replays. Because obviously, I know that the fixture list is really congested with both leagues. But like, you look at that Wrexham game and they ran Chelsea so close. They would have got back in the day. They would have had a really glamorous tie at Stamford Bridge, a replay.
Yeah.
So that would have spun them a lot more money going forward for the club.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, it goes to extra time. They were a man down, and then they go on to get beat. But yeah, the sort of non-replays is kind of killed the mystique for the smaller clubs, at least, because the smaller clubs would have just relied on maybe trying to see out a draw and, you know, going to one of the big teams.
I don't know why they've done away with replays. It's actually, is it like because they thought like the fixture list was getting congested, and they didn't want teams playing more games?
I think that's what it was down to. You know, it was like the bigger teams all playing in Europe, and they were like, we can't have, you know, too many fixtures, and maybe there was complaints for the players and the clubs and stuff, so they've just done away with them. But it just, like you said, it just takes away from the motivation for smaller teams to try and do well and get progressed, because they, you know, like you just said, they're like a team like in League One or the Championship in England, they're looking at a tie going, here, if we can get at least a draw or something, we can get a big glamour tie at the Etihad or Old Trafford or something, you know, and it's money spinning for the clubs, isn't it? It gives the clubs a cash injection.
Yeah, it's a bizarre role. Like, even like now that you see like some teams are like not complaining that they've got to play like 3 times in a week, like Saturday, midweek, Sunday. Part of me thinks, I know like the fitness levels are different now, but I'm just wondering like why you can't play 3 games in a week. Like, should be fine for a top level footballer.
In the words of Roy Keane, it's their job.
Exactly. No, it's nothing hard about it. Like, it's, well, obviously we're not elite footballers, but
you don't know the strain and the stress that playing at that elite level takes on the body. Of course, you've got to understand it, but Yeah, I'm kind of the same. It's not like back in the day when, players in the 50s and the 60s like had to have other jobs to supplement their income because football wasn't as lucrative back then.
Yeah.
And they guys all went and worked, down the mines, and then they were playing on a Saturday. So it's like, you've got, these modern players have got the best nutritionists, the best physios.
Aye.
It just, sometimes you kind of look and go, come on, mate, like, seriously.
And see, back in the day as well, like the teams only have like a certain amount of subs, or like if they got an injury, it would just be like a sponge.
Wee guy running with a bucket of water and like dabbing the. But I generally think, someday, if somebody knows the answer in the comments, they could probably tell us. But I'm pretty sure they didn't have any. Maybe one sub, or maybe like a squad of 13 or 14.
Aye.
And it was just basically like, and something tells me, could they not like roll on a sub? No, I don't think that's right. But I know that they were really small squads. And Matthew, see back in the day, like in the 60s and 70s, mate, they were all smoking darts. Do you know what I mean? Before they went to play.
Yeah, getting bevied the night before and all that as well.
Ripping darts in the changing room 5 minutes before kick-off. Back in the day, they were just working with what they had. Squads, physios. The physios weren't even a thing. And like I said, it was just a guy running with a bucket and sponge. But you look at like what's at the disposal of professional football clubs now, and you're just like, it's just a machine, isn't it? It's like, I've even seen like players having these big, I think it's these big like freezing pods that they go into after a game. I don't know if you've ever seen them. They're like, I want to say it's called like a hydro tank or something. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah,
but like
hydro tank, hydro pool, innit?
Yeah, and they go in and the temperature drops down to like whatever it is for like a minute, and they just sit in it and it just heals the muscles.
Yeah.
Back in the day, George Best was like, my post-match ritual is going for a pint and fish and chips. There was a thing that Villa put up on Instagram, and it was a video behind the scenes, and it was her, the nutritionist, and it was like a day in the life of the nutritionist, and it's mad how detailed it all is, like with their macros, their carbs, their proteins, and like she's basically sitting there monitoring the whole squad when they're coming from 9 o'clock to when they leave at 2, about their breakfast, their snack, their lunch, their protein intake, and it's just like,
yeah,
goodness.
Yeah, I suppose they've all on strict diets and all that as well, aren't they? Like,
oh yeah,
sports science is amazing as well, because I suppose they give managers advice like, we need to rest that player, like take him out, his injury could get worse, or I think it's good, but then I also think it causes a bit of debate, the sports scientists, don't they? Because they might turn into a manager and be like, oh, he's played so many minutes, he can't play at the weekend, and the manager's like, he's one of my best players, like, I need to play him. No, you can't play him because he risks injury, and you're just kind of like, I don't know, I'd love to see data of, whether sports scientists have reduced overall injuries, because I look at clubs in Scotland, and they all seem to have like really bad injury layoffs every season. So you've got like Celtic, who don't have Carter Vickers, Andrew Johnson, or Jota. Hearts have had 3 of their key players missing for the last few weeks. Yeah. And it's like, if sports science was that advanced, why are teams still getting long-term layoffs during seasons? That's a good question. Like, you think the sports science is brought in to reduce this? Yeah. Or reduce the risk of these injuries happening. But it's sometimes hard, because in a match, like, you can't predict what's going to happen. Someone can go up for the ball, fall funny on their back or their shoulder, and just stuff like that. You can't. I suppose it's just reducing the element of risk, sort of thing.
Do you know what winds me up though when I watch football is goalkeepers getting injured?
Yeah.
Does that not wind you up? Like you're standing between 2 posts, and it's when like they maybe take a goal kick and they're like signalling at the bench, pointing to their hamstring. You're like, really?
It's game management, isn't it? That's the manager's like code. Like, you go down for a little while, just run down.
The manager's like, hold your head. We'll get a stoppage. I think the tie of the round next time is, or the tie of the next round is Man City Liverpool. That's going to be a good one.
Where's that? Is that the Etihad or Anfield?
It's the Etihad. Yeah.
Ooh. Well, one of the bigger teams is going out, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Could be Man City and Arsenal in the FA Cup final, the way it's looking.
I know.
Well.
When was the last time that happened? Two teams playing both the League Cup and the FA Cup.
That would be mental. Hey, like,
yeah.
I saw the Old Firm game on Sunday. Seeing at the end kind of spoiled the game.
Yeah, a few things to talk about the Scottish Cup. It wasn't the greatest game. Did you watch it?
No, yeah, it wasn't. It was just more of a physical battle than anything. There was hardly any
scrappy,
chances.
wasn't it? It was like it was like a typical derby. It was just from the first minute. It was just like, soldiering through the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bit of debate about Celtic's offside goal. The lines they drew with the VAR were just bizarre. I don't know how they've got to the conclusion of drawing those lines. But once again, that's all we ever speak about in Scottish football.
I thought they made the right call just because he was slightly offside before he touched it. It's a hard one though, isn't it? Like it's just marginally, isn't it? Like it's just but that was pretty much the only chance. There was more fouls than probably shots at goal over the whole game, wasn't there?
I think it said that Celtic didn't register a shot on target in 120 minutes. It's just mad, mate. But it was like you said, it's a classic cup tie. It was a classic derby cup tie. Just both teams not wanting to lose, but both teams kind of not really wanting to go and put a foot down and go and win the game by a canter. But the crowd trouble after the game, mate, it's just.
Yeah, it's terrible.
How many times does it have to happen with those two? And what irritates me is the woman, the police superintendent, whatever her name was, she was on saying, "Oh no, we condemn the actions." How many times you got to hear that? Oh, we condemn. You have to take action.
Yeah. And
she says that there was enough police there, and see the stewarding at these games. Like honestly, it's. It makes me laugh. You're seeing footage of stewards just standing on the pitch and like there's fans running past them and that, and you're like, okay, well done you.
Yeah, I think I don't know. See, I'm not putting any blame on any team here because they both got their criticisms and their fans. If Celtic, if the fans just didn't run on the pitch to celebrate, wouldn't antagonise the Rangers fans to come on? Or would they still done it anyway? Like I can understand they're like emotional. They want to shoot out Ibrox, but I think the minute one of the fans goes onto the pitch, I think that's like kind of crossing the line a wee bit, and they know that was probably going to antagonise some of the Rangers fans, and it wasn't all the Rangers fans. It's obviously the ultras and stuff like that.
It's both sets of supporters. Like we're not sitting here saying that one's worse than the other. They're both as bad as each other. I was seeing things that Celtic fans had put like. 66 not enough in reference to the Ibrox disaster, and you're like,
that's horrible.
These are grown men, right? Grown men who are in society, either working, not working. They've probably got families. It just fries my brain how people can be so wired that wrongly. That they can write something like that in a stadium about a disaster that happened years ago, and then you look at the flip side, and there's footage of I'd seen it on Reddit about some guys filming over, where the players go into the tunnel, and like the abuse from grown men to these people, just playing football. It's just like, and what's funny about it is they're going, the Rangers fans. Oh, look at the state of your fans. Your fans are to cause this. While 500 Rangers fans swarm towards the Celtic end, and you're like...
Yeah. Aye. It must be strange, see if you're a fan, and you're in the ground just watching the game, and you're there giving you support, and you're seeing these other fans of your own club acting like that. Like, if a Rangers fan, if he was there with his... I don't know, a dad was with his child or something, and you see, people sat next to you with masks on and stuff like that, and got flares. It must actually scunny you a lot. And I think every football club's got that. You've probably got your own fans that are they just the ultras and all that. It just gives yourself a bad name. It's terrible, isn't it?
Well, like the FA have said and the police have said, oh, we condemn the actions. But do you know what, mate? They need to be taking action because see the ultras movement, and it's at every club, right? Boys who are obviously, just pent up anger or something, and the only output is going to a football match, and that's fine. Like if you want, if going to a football match is your only output of like frustrations of your week, that's fine. But it can't boil over to being aggressive and causing scenes like that.
Yeah.
The ultras movement needs stamped on, and the thing is, the clubs are allowing it because the clubs set out a section in the stadiums for these ultra groups, so they know where they sit. They've probably got all their details on file. They need to go straight to the source, and they need to just get rid of them for a few months and say he's only getting let back in stadium.
Just kind of know your place. like you can have your section. Try and make an atmosphere, but just leave your carnage, just leave it to yourselves. But it's just they do act like it's like they do act dead hostile and stuff like that, and it's, I don't know, maybe intimidating for your opponents and that. But it's just it's not even the same as football the way they're acting.
Exactly, and that's where the problem lies, because they're acting on a stereotype, aren't they? It's like this ultras, they all wear black, they've all got the balaclavas over their nose and stuff, and like, why do you have to cover your face if you're going to a football match?
Yeah, my initial thought when that happened, when I saw the Rangers fans running onto the ground and the Celtic fans were celebrating, I think some of the Celtic players and staff were still on the pitch, and I was actually thinking, fuck, I think some of these players are going to get attacked. They're going to get swarmed. I don't know it's just horrible scenes, and for anybody that did get injured, really sorry to hear that, but that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, and the thing is, that woman's coming out and saying that there was plenty of police there. There's never enough police at a Celtic and Rangers match, especially with that hostile atmosphere.
Yeah, when it gets out of hand like that as well, what you meant to do to police that? Because you're going to see people running about next to you and all that, and who do you target?
Yeah, well, I seen a comment whenever the game went to penalties. Somebody was commenting saying that there should have been a row of police in front of the Celtic fans, like police, not stewards.
Yeah,
and then the same again at the Rangers end to stop anything like that. And that's a good point. Having a wall of police at the Celtic end, wall of police at the Rangers end. Needs to be a heavier police presence at these games.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you reckon probably the next Old Firm? Well, it depends now, because for a few years there was a lockout for away supporters at the Old Firm matches, and it was strange because see last week's Old Firm derby was there less Celtic fans in this time, but on a cup game they get more of an allocation.
Yes, so is it 20% that the clubs get in the Scottish Cup, the away fans?
Right.
So it's either 20 or 25%, because there was 7,500 Celtic fans at Ibrox at the weekend. Yeah. So it's a much bigger allocation, but that'll go to the wall. They'll stop that. That's the last time that there'll be that many fans.
Be a bit more easier, but I think they gave them an inch and they took a mile basically.
100%.
It's never gonna. It's just getting worse and worse, isn't it? And there's a reason why not as many fans are allowed in, or not any at all.
And we spoke last week on the phone about the whole Celtic and Rangers maybe going down to the Premier League and stuff like that. in another world, could they survive in the Premier League? Well, if there was any notion of that, it'll never happen, because the Premier League don't need that nonsense.
Yeah, nah, done it.
So the semi-finals for the Scottish Cup are Celtic St Mirren and Dunfermline Falkirk. Dunfermline Falkirk's a tie for me. If there was one manager you want to go and get you cup success, it's Neil Lennon. I know that his managerial record's not that great, but
he certainly has. It's going to be some game.
Yeah, and Falkirk as well. John McGlynn, fantastic job he's done. Back-to-back promotions. I've got a sneaky for Falkirk. I really do, because I think obviously Celtic St Mirren, that's going to be a tough one for Celtic, but I think it's maybe a bit of payback for Celtic for the cup final, the League Cup final.
If they got to the final, they'd fancy a game against Celtic.
100%, especially with the season that Celtic are having. Anybody will fancy that, and if they get through the tie with St Mirren and they get maybe Falkirk in the final, that'll be some final like. But I think
Neil Lennon against Celtic again. That would be quite interesting as well.
So yeah, you've got it. So if Celtic get through that tie with St Mirren, you've either got Neil Lennon playing as managing against his old club, or you've got the game against Falkirk. I think out of the 4 teams, I'd love to see Falkirk win it now because, like I said, with what John McGlynn's done, imagine 2 successive promotions and a Scottish Cup. It's fantastic.
That's a phenomenal achievement, isn't it? Like, yeah. And do you
100.
know what? See if St Mirren were to get through and they win it, to do the cup double. That's what St Johnstone done a few years ago, didn't they?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, imagine 2 clubs doing 2 cup doubles in the space of a decade. Like, that's unheard of in the Scottish game.
Who was that St Johnstone manager that done it? Was it Callum Davidson? 2 cups in a season. There'll be a statue of him, like, surely, outside McDermott Park in years to come, surely.
Oh, surely, yeah. They're going to name a stand after him in about 20 years, aren't they? When he gets old and stuff.
The Callum Davidson stand.
The Callum Davidson stand.
Oh, you go down in history, isn't it? Like, I'm not too sure if he's in management or anything now, but what an achievement that was.
I think, like, it was a massive achievement, but I think it kind of took the shine off it because it was a COVID season.
Yeah.
I think if it was a regular season and they'd done it, there would be a lot more, fuss made of it because it was remarkable. Like, to win.
That's the only shittest thing, wasn't it? They never, like, their fans wouldn't have been in the ground to enjoy it.
Yeah, it was it was just a strange time in football. Watching games with no fans, it was bizarre.
Like, to say, we won the cups that season, but no fan can say that they were in the ground to see it happening. It's pretty heartbreaking, to be honest, but still an amazing achievement.
Obviously, not blowing smoke up my own arse here, but I've got a new single out, so can we promote that? Brilliant. Is that all right?
Yeah, no, let's get this exposed, mate. It's
yes,
people need to hear it.
So yes, Rescued Me dropped yesterday on all the digital streaming platforms, and it's part of my up-and-coming album Britpop Flowers, which will be out in June.
That's an excellent title, mate.
It's good, isn't it?
Britpop Flowers, that is fucking quality.
Because there's a song on the new album called Britpop Flowers. It was written when Oasis reformed. And the name just came to me. I was like, Britpop Flowers, that's a really, really good title. So yeah, that's going to be the name of the album.
Like Oasis have came back out, and like the flowers of Britpop have grown again. The seed has been planted.
Exactly. You can interpret these titles like anything. My missus always laughs at me because she's like, "How do you write songs? What's the meaning behind songs?" I never go into a song, or I never write a song with a specific meaning, right? But it always comes from somewhere, and then after it, I go, "Oh, it means this and it means that." Whereas I look at the Britpop Flowers as like my older brother Scott was heavily into Oasis and the Stone Roses, and the way I look at it is you always give flowers, you always pass somebody over flowers for an occasion, don't you? So like wedding, birthdays, Mother's Day, and I always think that like in my head it's like him handing over the Britpop baton to me, because now I love it. So that's the way I interpret the Britpop Flowers. But your take's good. I should have used that. The Oasis blooming again.
Yeah. A plant that's just finally grown again after the Britpop era died out. That's a brilliant title, mate. And the song is amazing, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listened to it a few times, mate. It's got a great sound to it. Nice. The words are amazing, and just a lot of the elements, the guitar, the reverb on it. Everyone should check it out.
Yeah, I think it comes from, having that hiatus for a couple of years and not really doing anything musically, and then having this output to do the songs again and write again. It sort of captures like a sound where you were sort of lost for a wee bit, and then you've come back and you've got all this sort of like this vehicle to channel all your creative input. So yeah, it's I love it. I think it's a great tune. So hopefully everybody digs off it. But what I wanted to speak about was, whenever how do you find with the modern day music releases, trying to sort of push your traffic out there, trying to get as much promotion done as possible, because social media is such a minefield. We're trying to get exposure.
I've been the when it's done, it's obviously released on all the platforms and stuff. And I think the social media presence these days is a big thing. And like I think bands and artists don't really have much chance of any success if they don't have social media. It's like it's just a much needed tool now, isn't it? Because people can see it there and then, even whether they listen to it or not, or decide to check it out. It's just they can see, that artist has brought out a new song.
It's really bizarre. What I've always struggled with, and I think a lot of artists struggle with when they're putting something creative out, is the social media algorithms.
Yeah.
See, trying to push your song out there, because an example was last week we launched the first episode of the podcast, and I put it all over YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and the promotion of the podcast got really, really good traction. So
yeah,
I put a couple of shorts, a couple of clips on YouTube, and they got over 1,500 views within a couple of days.
Yeah.
So I done the same yesterday with my song, just a little sort of 20-second clip, and there's no exposure at all. It's the most bizarre thing how YouTube obviously and all your social media channels that kind of pushes stuff to certain people, but it's almost as if they look at the relevance of it. So that podcast kind of got pushed a lot further out than what the single did,
Yeah, when they see something and do they want to? Oh, we're like it as well. I mean, we can scroll up and we see loads of different stuff. What I noticed, a lot of like artists you can see now on TikTok, they might just do 30-second clips of them just playing a song, and they've got a guitar. But they're not, obviously, when they're playing it, they're like, this is my new song. But the actual recorded version is playing over, but they're not actually playing a guitar because you can hear drums and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's like the track's been overlaid onto the video. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. I've actually found quite a few bands and songs from Instagram ads. And it's exactly like you're saying. It's maybe a clip from the band's, if they've maybe got a music video done, or it's a live studio session or something like that, and that 30-second clip gives me enough to go, I actually quite like that song, or I don't like it, I'll scroll past. So I definitely think there's something in that in terms of trying to push little 30-second clips out to the world. But everything's paid promotions now on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that.
Last week, it was quite. I hadn't heard of this guy in a while. I thought he was quite dormant, but I seen a couple of his clips, and he maybe 3 songs he was doing. There was Jake Bug, and it was just him just one on the acoustic, and he was just doing a wee chat, and then he started singing, and what a voice that boy's got, eh? It's.
Have you ever seen him live?
I haven't seen him live. I was meant to play on the same bill with him at a festival in Edinburgh years ago, but
were you?
With family circumstances, I couldn't make it. It was something called the EH6 festival. He was they don't do it in Edinburgh anymore, but they had a weekend where they had Jake Bug headlining. They had, I think, Jerry Cinnamon one day and Jake Bug the next. And it might have been the Snuts on one of the other days. I was glad I never got the chance to see him, but what a voice he's got! It's just you hear him talking, and he's just this lad, I think, from Nottingham, and then he just starts singing. It's phenomenal. It reminds me a lot of really early Bob Dylan sort of stuff, the way he sings and stuff.
Yeah, I seen him at the Corn Exchange. 2009, 2010, I don't know, but he was good. He was good. He doesn't really say a lot, and he's not really got much of a stage presence. Jake Bug.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He sort of just stands and he just plays the songs, which is fine. But and he doesn't really speak much to the crowd. He just kind of goes from song to song to song, and he just kind of plays on his guitar. But he was good.
Yeah, no, I kind of like that. I suppose it's whatever you want to put in your stage presence. If you should talk in between songs or this and that, but just, I suppose, I kind of got the mindset, you're the musician, people are there to just hear you play songs. And
I think with him, it's the songs kind of speak for themselves. They're amazing songs live.
Yeah. So
he doesn't really have to have a stage presence because the crowd bring the presence whenever they're singing the songs. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, fantastic artist, mate.
But I was looking at streaming income versus promotion cost, because obviously when you look at analytics and stuff like that, you've got to kind of keep tabs on where your songs reaching, and it blew my mind about how much an artist makes from the likes of Spotify and stuff like that and streaming. Apparently, going on data from a couple of months ago, if you get 1 million streams on Spotify, they'll pay you about roughly £4,000. 1 million streams is a lot, for like somebody like me and you. That's like astronomical figures that you have to get £3,000.
Was it if you get one stream? Is it like 0.001 pence or something?
I don't know wee calculations. So like if you're comparing streams to physical CDs. Now I know that CDs and vinyls are still quite popular today, but that's more like mainstream artists that people buy their vinyls. But CDs are like, it's like a dead industry, CDs now.
Yeah.
But if you had to print CDs and sell them at gigs, right, of your EP or your album, to make £3,000, you would have to sell 600 CDs at a fiver. So if you compare that, like, I don't think selling 600 CDs is so insurmountable if you were gigging most weekends and you were sort of interacting with the crowd and stuff like that. Whereas to get 1 million streams is it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it's like it's bonkers. Like, that's like levels you can only dream of, really. Yeah? Like,
but then it also comes into the argument of the big thing about DIY recording these days, as opposed to going into a studio and paying money to go and record in a high-end studio. It's like, that's why a lot of artists are now going down the DIY route, because you're not getting any money back from streaming.
Saved himself a few bob as well with like the paying for the high-end recording. Now, the high-end recording's obviously still good, but you'd need to fork out a hell of a lot of money to be able to do that. Eh?
I don't know about your experience in studios, but I've been in a high-end studio about 3 times when I was doing my solo work, and I think I paid out about just under £1,000 for those 3 sessions. 3 separate sessions.
$3,000, did you say?
No, a grand. So
grand, right, okay.
It was about £300 a day that I was paying, and that was obviously like a full recording day and mixing. I had to do the mastering separate.
Yeah.
But if you put them together, that's like £900 that I've spent on 3 days in a good studio. But I haven't scratched the surface in making that money back from streaming, and I never will.
It's the luxury of having it done, isn't it? Like having these recordings and put out there, because some musicians, they might not even get to that level where they want to release music and put it out there. They're just happy playing in their bedroom. But the song's amazing, mate. And first song from the beautiful Chaos Records as well. What a debut to kick off this label. Hopefully
it's a start of something nice. And obviously you've got a track coming out next month as well. So
yeah, looking forward to it, mate. But it's just good to release music and like having them, and then just the time's right, so just like, gonna release this day. And I mean, with that song you done, did you do this like a few months ago, and did you get it like? Did you record it in one day, or was it a few days? What was the process?
So I actually had the idea for the song at the start of January. It was just after New Year, and I remember playing it on the acoustic and being like, "Oh, I quite like those chords." And then it takes me a couple of days to write a song.
Yeah.
I've kind of got to I've got to go back to it the next again day and see what it sounds like, because sometimes you write something and then you go back the next again day and you go, it's actually not that great. And it just stayed with me. And then over the space of about a fortnight, I was sort of dipping in and out the studio, just laying stuff down. And it was after about a week, I was like, I know I've got something here. And it was actually going to go on my next album, but then because I just went I threw the kitchen sink at it and got it finished, I was like, no, I'm going to stick it on this album here because it's such a good song. But yeah, the recording process is always an enjoyable one for me. This is what I mean, like with the whole sort of like promotion side of things and stuff, and like you can go down a rabbit hole trying to like get your stuff out to the big bad world in music. But I don't know how you feel about it, but I always just feel like as long as I'm leaving sort of like a back catalogue online, like that's enough for me. That's more than enough. I don't need my songs to be hitting 1 million streams to be like, oh yeah, I'm good, whatever. As long as I've got to look back on like a selection of songs that I did over like a 10-year period, like that's more than enough for me.
I suppose that's the good thing with like these platforms and social media, that like the music does reach places around the world that you we'd never even think of that. Maybe back in the day, like how they done it differently, like record labels and CDs, and yeah, it's different now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot different, and like you said, like you touched on there, it's nice to have that output where you can put your songs somewhere and somebody in New Zealand's listening to your single and stuff. It's mind blowing. Trying to reach the land of milk and honeys, I'm sort of a bit past that now.
I don't think Spotify or on these platforms said, well, your song's only got 100 years and it gets removed. It'll be there forever now.
Like you said, the next couple of months are going to be interesting for the label because we've got your song coming out, then we've got Mr. Ben Ingalls, he's going to have a song coming out.
Yeah.
And then hopefully a couple of albums. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, how many songs you got on your album, buddy?
10 tracks.
Sweet.
So 10-track album. How many's on yours? 11?
I think it's 10 on mine.
Oh, 10, sorry, 10.
Yeah.
And have you decided what the first one's going to be?
Yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a song called Looking Up that I done, I read that years ago. A lot of my songs, well, 6 of them, 4 of them that you obviously done amazing work helping them come to fruition. Like, a lot of them songs are actually written years ago. I've just not got my arse in gear to release them. So, no.
Do you not think it's amazing that like sometimes you have a song that you made like years ago and you listen back and you kind of go, oh, it's not that great, whatever. But then there's those songs that that stay, that sound as good as like when you first wrote them. So like the songs on your album that you done years ago, you still listen to them and you think, oh, they still stand by this release, like they're still good enough to be released.
Yeah, you go back with like fresh ears. I was saying this a little while ago to Ben. We were talking about like you play these songs live so many times, and sometimes recently I've actually started to if a song was in like a certain key, I'll put a capo on a different pitch and I'll play it differently, and it feels like you're playing a different song because the pitch is different and you have to. So it's like I'm not playing that same song and that same chords. Well, it's the same, not chords, but different, a pitch higher, and it's like it feels like it's a bit fresher. You're playing the song differently.
Yeah, you're sort of expanding your technical ability as well, because you're playing the song in a bit of a different key and stuff. I think live bands do it all the time. You know, they'll take a studio track and whatever key it's in, they'll change it live, and they'll maybe like I love bands who take an album song, play it live, but then they'll sort of change it slightly. They'll maybe put like another ending in, or they'll start it differently, and like they just experiment. And it's obviously just they never got the chance to do it in the studio, but when they've been rehearsing, they've been like, actually, I've got this different ending here, and we'll play it live. It's always nice to hear that.
Yeah, and I suppose like as a listener as well, like if you're at a gig and a big artist playing a song in a different key, you might not even notice because you'll just be like. You won't know exactly that it's like that record. They're singing it the same, but it'll just be in a different pitch. I think it's hard for your ears to pick up. Like, oh, that's not actually in the same key, the same pitch range. It's mental. But yeah, loads of bands do it. I think it's like you said, if they can't do it in the studio, like we're going to try this live.
And it's whenever they're playing like gigs or like festivals or something, and they'll maybe like the song will start, but like the crowd don't really know what the song is. And the crowd are like that, and then as soon as a note's played where the crowd knows what it is, the crowd's like, hey! And it's like a really, it's a cool thing that musicians can have the ability to do.
Yeah, no, it's class, mate. Like,
well, we'll wrap it up there, and come on to Newcastle.
Oh, I hope so, mate. I really hope so.
Yeah, hopefully they get a wee result, mate. They need a couple of goals and a clean sheet, and then it's all to play for at the Nou Camp.
Right. I was going to say to you, mate, do you know what I watched the other day that I haven't seen in years? I hope you've seen it, mate. What a film. Pulp Fiction.
Not seen it for years, but Pulp Fiction, what a film.
Class, mate. Like, I was watching it the other day and I thought, I've seen this loads, but I thought I'm going to stick it on again. And it just felt like a different movie watching it years after watching it before. And
yeah,
it's a sensational film.
Timeless film, innit? It's just one of those films. It's like a Usual Suspects or a Reservoir Dogs. Like those films from that era just stand the test of time whenever you watch them. You haven't watched them in years and you go and re-watch them. It's just like, oh, amazing.
I feel like they're so much better because you're older and you're watching it again. You're like, wow. Like,
yeah, and you kind of pick up on things as well that you maybe never picked up on the last time you've seen them.
Yeah, aye. And every scene, even though you know what the lines are, you might miss like oh, that's what was said, or that's what the character said, and the meaning behind it. You didn't know that before. Like watching it as like a young person to watching it older, you're like, actually the dialogue and the dynamics between the actors.
Yeah, and you maybe miss stuff with younger ears, but then, like you said, when you're older, you kind of go. It's like the one that always gets me is Usual Suspects, because obviously, the ending is like this big reveal. But then now, whenever I watch that again, you're watching it in the mind where you know the ending, and you're like, oh, aye, and then you sort of see a couple of things in the film, and you go, right, okay, there you go, aye.
That was a real twist at the end of that, because you're like, I didn't see that coming. The first time you watch
see that coming.
And it makes a lot of sense, eh? Like
the scenes in the film make a lot more sense when you watch it again, knowing what the ending is.
Yeah, I know. With Pulp Fiction, like because it's like chapters. They do chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Every chapter, something extreme or crazy happens in one of these scenes. Like obviously, the woman, she takes when she tries to sniff heroin, doesn't she? And she gets an overdose.
Yeah.
You've got that scene where like the shop people they kidnap fucking Butch and Marcellus Wallace, and then you've got the robbery at the end. It's something mental happens, and I want to know like what the fuck is in that briefcase when he opens it up, because he's just looking at it, he's like Vincent, we good? He's like, oh yeah, we're good. And I'm like, what is in the briefcase? Just tell us.
But it's like a classic Tarantino film, eh? Like you're saying there with the chapters, because it was similar with Kill Bill. And I love Tarantino's films because he always he leaves in that stuff that you're constantly asking questions. And he was doing an interview one day, and he was like, I leave stuff in like that because then the viewer has their own opinion of what it is. It's like little unanswered things. They don't give you the answer in the film, but it makes you go away and just create this sort of like answer in your head. It's class.
Yeah, it's probably nothing in the briefcase. It's probably just a bit of paper, just like act surprised.
Yeah. A half-eaten apple or something, like.
Yeah, but the audience will be like, "What the fuck is in that briefcase?"
Yeah, and I think that's one of the best things about like films. Leaving unanswered questions. So the viewer can go away and they can make their own interpretation of what they think it is. It's class. They just don't make films like that anymore, do they?
No, they don't make them like they used to.
Nah, they don't. And on that note, I am going to probably go away and watch Pulp Fiction because it's a film I haven't seen in years.
All right, and I'm going to go and listen to your song again and get it shared.
Get the streams up. Get it playing across 5 different devices. Get the streams up.
Yes, absolutely, mate.
Okay, we'll call it a day, and I'll see you next week. All right.
Yeah, no worries, matey.
See you later.
See you later.
The gig in the game.
Gig in the game.